Welcome to SVG-TV News for Friday, February 22nd, 2019. I am Vesta Boynes with the details. 37 new graduates of the University of the West Indies Open Campus have been encouraged to use their education to benefit the nation and uplift the poor. The recognition ceremony was held today at the Methodist Church Hall. SVG-TV's Barvin Oliver tells us more in this report.
Education is considered the key to success, and 37 more Vincentians who graduated today after successfully completing their various programs of study with the University of the West Indies Open Campus now have in their hands a key which can open up many doors which would have been previously unavailable to them. Delivering the valedictory address, Latoya Brown said the road to success has many difficulties and praised all of her colleagues who persevered to make it to the finish line. She said all the graduates are a shining example of what can be achieved through hard work and dedication, and encouraged them to use their newly attained knowledge to help build better communities.
Today, my fellow graduates, I pray that we serve as an inspiration and as role models for the upcoming generation. So regardless of the discipline that you are graduating from today, whether it be accounting, management studies, early childhood development, educational leadership, public sector management, social work, or youth development work, just to name a few, I urge you to make a vow today to use your newfound knowledge and qualification for the benefit of our country. We must always remember the words of Malcolm X, and I quote, "Education is our passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to the people who prepare for it today," unquote. Today marks that significant step in our lives where we are preparing for our future and possibly instilling hope in the mind of a child that anything is possible once you persevere and trust in God.
The valedictorian also took the opportunity to thank those who continue to provide financial assistance to students so that they can continue to achieve their goals.
Many of us face financial struggles throughout our programs, and your continued support was and is greatly appreciated. You must also be proud today because you are able to see that the investments that you have made in our future was not in vain. I do hope that in good faith you continue to invest in the future of UE Open Campus students and continue to assist in the promotion of well-educated professionals for our Vincentians.
In his feature address, Director of the CARICOM Food and Security Enterprise Barbados and UWI Professor Leonard Ogaro said many persons pursue higher education for diverse reasons, including personal development. He said regardless of the reason, education should be used to help solve the complex problems which plague society today. Professor Ogaro also encouraged the graduates to never forget where they come from.
Many of you in this graduation class are the pride and joy of the poor segments of your society and communities. Catering for the rural poor is one of the thematic areas of my work. I also want to ask you to look after the poor and vulnerable. Do not ignore, exploit, nor abuse them because of their vulnerabilities. It has been said that the last act of betrayal of a person is to deny their social class.
Among those who graduated today was SVG-TV's news editor Rochelle Baptiste, who successfully completed a master's degree. Congratulations, Rochelle. For SVG-TV Evening News, I am Barvin Oliver.
In 3 months' time, Richmond Vale Academy will become the first school in SVG utilizing 100% renewable energy. Director of the Academy, Steiner Herberg, said that after 7 years, the project, which is on the outskirts of Chateaubelair, has been completed.
There are 3 buildings. 2 buildings are dormitories and main buildings, and 1 building is classrooms and workshop building. For about a year now, we have had an off-grid system at the main building, providing us with energy, but that was not able to provide all our energy needs, and we have got through to funding to have an on-grid system in the classroom and workshop building. So that is going to be set up in about a month, and we will be hopefully up running in May on 100% renewable energy. So we're very excited about that.
Under the project, hundreds of students were trained. Herberg noted that currently they sell energy for EC 0.40 cents per kilowatt per hour and buys EC $1.02 kilowatt per hour. However, more has to be done, and they have since gotten help from the St. Vincent Electricity Services Limited, VINLEC.
We will have about 70-80 panels as we are upgrading the current system a bit. And then at the new facility, at the classroom building, we will have about 180 panels. So we will be able to sell clean renewable energy back to the grid. You don't sell in dollars as such, but you are able to get credit. So we are very pleased with the system that VINLEC has set up for us who wants to go renewable. And VINLEC has been very helpful in the advising and help us set up how do we put our solar panels on grid with the building.
The Richmond Vale community has also benefited from other projects such as the organic farming. According to Herbert, this is one way of preparing residents to adapt to climate change.
To add that sometimes when you set out for a big goal, and I know that many people in St. Vincent, we are united to make St. Vincent the world's first sustainable island. And I know there is just a lot of people that know that this is possible. And that's where we're headed. We're headed to become Caribbeans, but maybe the world's first sustainable island.
The SVG Girl Guides Association is said to be making strides in transforming the lives of girls across the country through several programs. This is according to Chairperson of the Junior Council for the SVG Girl Guides Association, Chevelle Campbell, who was speaking with SVG-TV News on the occasion of 105 years celebration of girl guiding in SVG. Campbell said there are more than 1,000 girl guides who are currently in the program from as young as 5 years.
Was created in a way to encourage girls to reach their fullest potential, help them to work well in group, because in guiding, as in guiding and Brownie, they're all separated in small groups and they have to work together to accomplish whatever activity that they're dealing with. In keeping with our promise, which is to do our best, we encourage our girls to do their best at everything that they're doing, whether it's school, curricular activities, in anything that they're doing, we encourage them to do their best. We have activities such as camping, which teach them outdoor cooking, teach them encourage them to do physical education, and basically anything that will help them to be a great citizen for the communities.
And today being World Thinking Day, the Girl Guides held a parade to mark the occasion led by the police band of the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force. Campbell said on this occasion they are encouraging leadership among girls.
So the message that we're trying to get across for Thinking Day is, along with our team, leadership. We're encouraging the girls to become leaders in their schools, their groups, their communities, and even just being a leader in being around friends. We're also encouraging them to overcome obstacles and challenges that they may face throughout the day.
Yesterday, the Girl Guides Association held its annual Althea Commission Brownie public speaking competition. The opposition New Democratic Party says the petitioners and their lawyers are now in the process of preparing their written submission and to have them submitted on time for the judge hearing the election petitions case to make his ruling on the matter. In a statement issued yesterday, the party said the trial has highlighted and vindicated them on their outcry of irregularities in the December 2015 general elections. The party said it will continue to call for fresh elections and for reform of the country's elections practices and processes, including the establishment of an electoral commission to oversee elections, and that there be strict adherence to the election laws. The party also said that apart from highlighting certain aspects of the evidence, it has taken the official position which has been issued to all its spokespeople to refrain from commenting on the merits of the trial and the judicial officials pending delivery of the judgment. Written submissions are to be filed by the petitioners and respondents to the court by February 28, 2019. They are expected to return to court on March 6, 2019 to make oral submissions to the judge. At this time, the legal team for the petitioners and respondents are expected to explain clearly to the court why the evidence and law should support a decision in favor of petitioners Benjamin Exeter and Lauren Baptiste, or in favor of the respondents Sir Louis Straker and Montgomery Daniel. The St. George's Anglican Cathedral is a historical landmark, and many hands are needed to help with its restoration. So says Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves as he spoke on issues surrounding the work needed to be done to restore the cathedral at a news conference earlier this week. The Prime Minister said local Anglican church officials have met with an international organization seeking to have the cathedral restored to a pristine condition. He said, however, that the work would cost over $20 million and lamented that even with trim work, the restorative exercise would be expensive. The Prime Minister said it is time for a wide cross-section of stakeholders to band together to help preserve the national landmark.
The Anglican community as a whole, and I believe they would appreciate that, and I think the bishop has taken, they have to make a contribution, but the private sector also, individuals in the private sector have to try and come up and put some money in the kitty, and the government has to put money in the kitty too, because it's an important national landmark and treasure. Though F.W. Bailey, who had written on it sometime around in the 1820s or just after the abolition of slavery, didn't think much of the building. And in fact, there's a the quotation about it, which and I disagree with F.W. Bailey. And if that is how he felt about it in that part of the 19th century, we have grown to love it. It has been with us, and it's a splendid building, and we have to do our best to keep it in a pristine condition. But a price tag of 24 million or whatever that number is, or close to that, is not an easy number.
Prime Minister Gonsalves said the church's decision to do what work it can within the means is a common sense approach.
The challenge there is to cut your cloth to suit the size, which at the same time satisfies the condition of maintaining this architecture, this historic architecture, in some pristine manner. I think that's where the challenge is. And we had put in our budget last year to put a grant of $250,000 towards whatever renovations. Must inquire whether the church got that money from the Minister of Finance or from the Director General of Finance and Planning, because we help with the rest with churches, and I myself personally, if you ask Mr. Montemall, he will tell you that I personally helped in raising money to help with the Methodist Church with the roof. The church, I'm talking as Ralph, Prime Minister, not the government itself.
Speaking on the impasse between the planning department and the church, which have prevented further work being carried out, the Prime Minister said it is his hope that both sides can come to an amicable solution to settle the matter.
And I don't really like to see this standoff on this issue between the church and the and physical planning. So I'm hoping that some meeting of the minds can take place. As I say, I don't want to interfere, because there's provision in relation to certain matters. For the cabinet to interfere, the minister and then to the cabinet. But that takes it at a different level. I don't know if this is a circumstance in which we can intervene. I think probably. But you wouldn't want to do that, because you want good sense to prevail in every respect.
The government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines will host a workshop next month dealing with the topic Resilient Urban Development of the Modern City and Kingstown. The two-day workshop will be held on March 20th and 21st as the government moves ahead with plans to make Annesville the next city in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It will be hosted in collaboration with the World Bank Group, with funding from the European Union African Pacific Natural Disaster Risk Reduction Program, and will take place at the NIS Conference Room. The aim of the workshop is to develop a technical and financial strategy for resilient urban development in Kingstown and Annesville. It will focus on specific topics such as urban spaces, development of business and financial models to find urban investments, optimization of transport systems, and management of disaster and climate risk. The participants of the workshop will include representatives from the public and private sector entities, academia, and civil society. Facilitators will be drawn from key national stakeholders, regional planners, and internal experts from the Harvard University Graduate School of Design, Engineering, and Architecture consulting firm.